Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is your no-nonsense guide to the Mauer Der Toten Easter egg. This can be done solo and co-op, and I'll be showing you co-op gameplay just to make it nice and clear, but I'll explain exactly how you do things solo as well, so you can use this guide for both. For your loadout, I recommend you either use my Hauer class or my M16 class. I have guides for both of those explaining all the attachments I use. If there's another gun that you're more comfortable with, then by all means go for it, but those guns are going to perform well just no matter what. There are a few main objectives that we're going to be focusing on in the kind of first half of this Easter egg, one of which is turning on power and pack-a-punch, of course, but then we're also going to be building and upgrading Klaus and doing the free CRBRS Easter egg. These will all be marked with timestamps, so you can click through to the parts of the video that you need, and I'll have all the spawns and stuff to make this guide 100% complete. So, to begin, activate power and pack-a-punch. This is indicated on your screen, actually, so just follow those prompts. Kill the Tempests, put the fuses next to the power switch, turn it on, and then go and activate the Pat machine, kill the thing, and you're done. Power and Pap are now active. Next, we're going to work on building Klaus. The hands for Klaus can be acquired first by getting brain rot on your gun. So go to the pack-a-punch machine and just get the brain rot alternate ammo type on a weapon, and then go to this hotel room here. When you're in the room, turn a zombie using brain rot, and once it's turned, it should swipe down the barrier here and allow you to get into the room. And you'll then be able to grab the hands of Klaus from the neck of this very much alive dude. Next, we need a battery, and you get it from killing a panzer. So wait for round 10 when your first panzer will spawn, and then take it down and grab the battery it drops. Now, a quick warning, don't do the bunny Easter egg on round 10 if you're thinking about it, because it can mess up your panzer spawns, so just don't do it. We're not going to do it in this guide. Next, we can go over to Klaus where he's chained up and give him his parts back, and that will free him, and you'll then be able to command him around by using your tactical button, so it like replaces stun grenades, stuff like that. The last thing we want to do now that he's moving around is command him to stand in front of this locker here, and he should bust it open when he gets there, and you'll be able to pick up a black light from inside. This is going to be useful for what we're doing next, which is the free CRBRS Easter egg. So turn on your newly acquired black light by pressing up on your D-pad, or I think 5 on your keyboard, and then come to this location here. You're going to check the following 3 spawns for a pair of numbers. So look in this location, and look in this location, and finally look in this location. And in one of those 3 spots, you should see a pair of numbers. Make a note of those numbers, and then we're going to move to another location and do the same thing. So come to this area of the map, and inside this little sewer area, we're going to do the same. Look for a pair of numbers, check this spawn just here, then check this spawn just here, and finally, check this spawn just here. We've now got to do that one more time. Come to this location and look in this spawn location for a pair of numbers. If it's not there, check this spawn location for a pair of numbers. And finally, check this spawn location for a pair of numbers. Now that we have our 3 pairs of numbers, go back to the room where we got Klaus's hands, and there's a safe on the right-hand side, which we can enter the code into that we just read off the walls. We enter the code left to right in the order of locations I just showed you, and if you're in solo, by the way, the zombies aren't going to path to you here. They're going to give you a little bit of space to enter the numbers, so you don't need to worry about that too much. And when you've entered the 3 numbers correctly, there'll be a prompt on screen for the button you need to press to actually open the safe and like confirm your entry, and inside you will find your free CRBRS Wonderweapon. Next, we're going to build the headgear. This takes no time at all. So bring the CRBRS to this rooftop here and shoot this metal electrical pylon thing with the CRBRS to knock it over. It should drop a part out of it, which you can pick up. That's 1 out of 3. Next, come underground into the train station, and you should see a little metal box above your head here. Shoot that again with the CRBRS, and it will drop your second part. The third part is found in the TV repair shop. Bring the CRBRS down there once again, and this time we're going to be shooting these radios, and you won't necessarily get it first time. There are multiple radio spawns that you need to shoot. Here's one. And here's another, and when you shoot the correct radio, you should find that the part flies out onto the floor in front of you for you to pick up. That's 3. You can then run over to Klaus where he'll be sitting underground and craft the headgear on top of his head, and this will be used later in the Easter egg. Okay, with that done, we do need to upgrade Klaus to tier 1 still, but we'll do that a little later in the egg probably. For now, let's start working on main quest Easter egg steps. Call in Klaus from one of his radio stations and bring him over to this brick wall. When you command him to stand in front of it, he should break it down, and a metal wall will be revealed behind it. To burn through that wall, we need this CRBRS variant, which you can get by just killing zombies with the CRBRS. It'll eventually drop the correct variant, and I think the mod kit's name is Blazer. Fire the CRBRS Blazer at the metal wall, and after a few seconds, it should melt, and you'll be able to enter a secret Endstation lab. Go in and then wait a round, and after a round has passed, you should see that the red kind of force field around these 2 machines will disappear. You'll then be able to pick up 3 canisters from that central machine, and these these need to be all dropped off in 3 canister holders that are dotted around your map. There are multiple spawn points for these, so I'm going to run through a massive list of spawns right now. Oh, and by the way, if I have missed any of these spawns out, I'll have them listed in the description down below so that you guys will still be able to find them in your game. Don't worry. The audio for this is just going to be a meme. One spawn is just here. Another spawn can be just here. You've got another possible spawn just here. Another spawn can be just here. And if you're really lucky, maybe you'll get a spawn just here as well. And there also could be a spawn just here. Finally, the last spawn is here, just about. Across all of those that I just showed you, you should have 3 of those locations in your game. Drop a canister off at each of them and then go back to the lab. Shoot this machine with the CRBRS and it should pop open and you'll be able to grab an essence trap from inside. If you're in co-op, get a teammate to grab one as well because you're going to need to do this next thing multiple times. Go to one of your locations where you just dropped off one of your canisters and use the essence trap in front of the canister holder. It'll spawn in 3 tempests and you need to kill them all in that area and their souls will then fly into the canister holder. On solo, you only need 3 Tempest souls to completely fill up the canister holder, but on co-op, you're going to need more. So that's why I said get a teammate to grab an essence trap as well, because then they can throw theirs down and you can kill 3 more Tempests. And basically, you'll know when it's done because the canister holder will go purple. You'll then be able to pick it up and run it all the way back down into the lab. Remember that if you get overwhelmed, you have your L1, R1 like ability to knock zombies away from you. And also a little pro tip to make this a bit easier is that you can't normally mantle when you're holding one of these canisters, but you can mantle over this little ledge here as long as you get right up against it first, and then you can just drop down right on top of where you need to deposit the canister at that central machine. Once your canister is deposited, we're going to do the exact same thing with the other 2 canister holders. So grab yourself some more essence traps from the machine just next to you, and if they're not spawning, by the way, you might need to go to the next round, but get yourself a trap, get your teammate a trap, and then go over to your second canister holder and do the exact same thing again. Throw the trap down, spawn in the Tempests, fill the canister with those Tempest souls. When it goes pink, pick it up, run it back, being very careful, to the lab, and then deposit it in the central machine. And we're going to rinse and repeat one final time for the 3rd canister holder. You know the drill at this point. Hopefully. And once you've filled up your 3rd canister and brought it back to the central machine, placed it inside, you can then work on doing your Klaus upgrade that I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already done it. To begin with, go to the death strip in the center of the map where the guard towers are and dig in all of the dig spots until you get a satellite dish which you can pick up. You're then going to want to spawn in Klaus, and I recommend bringing him to this location here, right in front of his upgrade station, where you're going to place that satellite dish, by the way. Don't forget this. It's an easy mistake to make. Place that satellite dish down. So now you're in that room and Klaus is spawned in. He just needs to get like 50 plus kills. It's going to take a while. Just have him stand in front of the machine, and he may not do this all in one respawn, so you may need to call him back in after his kind of timer cools down. But let him get as many kills as possible in that room, and you'll know as soon as you've done this because the light above his upgrade station will turn green. You then need to order him to stand right in front of the machine, and he'll climb inside, and a 1-minute lockdown will begin, where you just need to basically make sure that his health doesn't go to 0, keep him safe for 1 full minute, and if you do it successfully, he'll pop out of the machine with an upgraded gun. Congrats, you've upgraded Klaus to tier 1, and that's all the Klaus upgrading you need to do. You can move on now to stopping the train. So go down into the train station, and if Klaus has left by now, like if he's expired, wait for his cooldown to go off and then call him back in. Make your way into this room and switch this lever that you can see I'm switching here, and then run over to where the trains come and order Klaus to stand on the train tracks furthest away from where Mule Kick is. If this bit works correctly, Klaus will do a little animation where he like walks to the middle of the train tracks, and then a train will come and Klaus will basically catch the train for you, and it will stop the train in its path. You need to run onto the train and grab all the items that are on there. One of them is going to be in this crate just here, very important. And then there's also going to be a key card and potentially an intel next to it as well. Make sure you don't get kind of faked out by the intel here, guys. You can grab it, but just make sure you get the key card as well and that first item I showed you. And then as soon as you're done, you can run back into the lab and place one of those items you just picked up onto that central machine. Next, go into this room here and interact with the computer a bunch of times until it says activate satellite. Don't do that one just yet. You'll be given the option to browse files like 4 or 5 times first though, so get through all of those. For the next step, we're going to be on a timer, and so what I recommend is you watch the next couple of minutes of the guide before you do this satellite bit, just so you fully understand it, and then you'll have no risk of accidentally ending your game by running out of time. The way I recommend you do it is you go to this tent next to the trials machine, next to the reward station, and you'll see another one of those computers that you can call the satellite from. Call it, and then you'll see a light beam down from the sky, and in is going to drop an HVT Megaton. You'll also get a load of other zombies. I recommend, if possible, trying to clear out all those other extra zombies and mimics and stuff first, and then with them out of the way, you can just focus on the Megaton, split it into its 2 halves, and then take both of those down, and each of the halves is going to drop a piece of uranium. You need to pick up that uranium and then run back to the crafting bench just next to the computer where we call the satellite in from, next to the trials machine, and use the crafting bench to craft a new device. If you're in co-op, have one of your teammates grab the other bit of uranium that you left behind and do exactly what you've just done. Bring it over to the crafting bench and craft a device. Then, one of you can run up to the Corba rooftop and the other one of you can run to the rooftop opposite, and you basically need to place the devices on the zip line that connects the 2 buildings. As soon as they've both been placed down on that same zip line, they will rush towards each other, explode in the middle, and a part will drop down onto the floor below, which you can pick up. This will also end your timer, so you can kind of relax for a second here. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this work in solo? Well, in solo, you grab a piece of uranium, craft it into a device, and then you go to a zip line and place it down there, and then you can go back for your second piece of uranium, craft it into a device again, and then go to the opposite rooftop to the first one you did, and just place it on there, and then the game will just automatically start them rushing towards each other, and you'll get the explosion, and the part will drop below. So you have this new part now, which is cleansed uranium. You need to bring that down into the lab and place it into the central machine. We're then going to flip the round, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to go to that same station where we called in the satellite. We're going to call in an HVT, but the HVT is actually going to spawn somewhere else this time. Follow the huge light in the sky, take down all the ads, and then take down the HVT Megaton. He'll drop 2 pieces of uranium, go to the crafting table, craft them into a device, put them on the zip line, do it again with the other bit of uranium, and then you'll get a second piece of cleansed uranium once they both rush together in the middle, and you again need to bring that down into the lab. But this is where the boss fight begins. So just before you place that bit of uranium down, I recommend you triple pack if you have an opportunity to, grab all the perks that you want to get, all that sort of stuff. The Wonder Weapon is really damn good for the boss fight, so if other people in your game can get CRBRSs and upgrade them, that's great. You can get it from the trials machine, so that's an option. You can also get it from the mystery box, and I also highly recommend death machines for the boss fight, so grab some of those if you're able to. Oh, and by the way, the uranium is going to tick your health down while you're carrying it, so I think it's down on the D-pad to drop it if you want to temporarily regain your health. So we're ready for boss now. Bring that cleansed uranium into the lab, place it into the machine, and the boss fight will start. Valentina is the boss, and she's got 3 kind of attacks that we really need to watch out for. The first involves her spawning a load of fire in above her head, and then she'll start shooting fire at you, and this will shred your armor, so be very careful not to get hit by it if you want to keep your armor alive. The second is a move where she'll summon a load of zombies around her, and they'll actually recharge her health if you're not careful. So for this, just shoot all those zombies that she's summoned and that are floating in the air, and you'll basically interrupt the attack, and you'll be able to keep doing damage to her. The third is a blue effect that will come over your screen. It's almost like water, and this, I think, is a wipe mechanic. What I do when this happens is I basically get out of line of sight of the boss, so I just sort of hide behind something, and that typically has worked for me. And for pretty much all of the rest of the time, you just want to make sure that you're taking down Valentina's shield, and then while her shield is down, do as much damage to her as possible. Now, this boss fight takes a while. She's just really spongy, so prioritize surviving above all else, and remember as well that there are usually ammo stations in the areas that you're in, so you'll be able to buy ammo if you run out. There are several stages to the fight, so when you get her to a certain health threshold, she'll move to a new area, and this gives you about 45 seconds to quickly run to Pack-a-Punch and use it if you need to. Maybe you want to buy new armor or whatever, and then you can run over to where she's moved to, or she'll teleport you there, and the next stage of the fight will begin. Do this over and over. You'll end up in the lab again when you're in the last stage of her health, and also remember to use those death machines because they're so damn good. And eventually you'll take her down, and the Easter egg will be mostly complete. You'll get a little cutscene, but there's one more bit of the Easter egg. When Klaus spawns in and starts walking towards the light in front of you, just make sure that you keep him alive. That is really important for you to be able to finish the egg successfully, and at that point, you are then done. Congratulations, I've been Mr. MrRoflWaffles. This has been your no-nonsense guide guide to Mauer Der Toten. Please drop a like. I've put a lot of work into this one. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.